Have you ever walked into a room and immediately felt welcomed or out of place? Has that ever happened to you? That's the power of culture. The vibe of your classroom can make or break the school year for both you and your students. Trust me, my friend, if you nail this, you're going to save a whole bunch of time and countless headaches later on. I promise you that. So buckle up and let's get started. I have 10 specific things that I want to share with you. Welcome to the Teacher RockStar podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to providing valuable tips, best practices, and proven strategies to ensure that new teachers are successful. I'm your host, Steve Hiles, retired educator, published author, and instructional coach. I've got over 20 years of classroom experience, and let me tell you, I've seen quite a bit as the years went on. From the joyous first, day of school to the slow but rewarding transformation of a group of kids into a thriving, positive community. Today, we're going to dive into a topic that's really near and dear to my heart, and that is building a positive classroom culture from day one. So, you might wonder, well, why is building a positive classroom culture so important? Because it's foundational. It is the foundation of everything that you do. A classroom that feels safe, respected, and inclusive allows students to take risks, grow, and thrive. Without it, you're like fighting an uphill battle. And how do I know this? Well, my 2 decades as a teacher, I've experienced firsthand how a strong classroom culture can turn a group of strangers into a cohesive, supportive team. So buckle up and let's get started. I have 10 specific things that I want to share with you. Point number 1, start with clear values and norms. Your students need to know what your classroom stands for. Does it stand for kindness, respect, perseverance? On day one, have a class discussion of what your students find of value. Write them down and display them prominently in the room. Put them on an anchor chart or something like that where everybody can see them. Now, when I did this, my students would come up with things like, really gems like listen to your heart and respect everybody's journey. Letting them have ownership makes all the difference in the world. Okay, now for point 2. Build relationships right away. And I can't stress that enough, okay? Relationships are the glue that holds everything in your classroom together. Take time to know your kids. Really know them. Have authentic conversations. Know their interests, their fears, what they like to do on weekends. What is their favorite TikTok trend? One year I learned that a student I'll call Alex really loved dinosaurs. So when I did a lesson and used T-Rex as an example, it was like I handed him $1 million. It was really powerful. So it's moments like those that build trust, okay? Hey there, my friend. It's time for a quick message from our sponsor, Natron. Now, if you're like me and have struggled with gut issues, you know how debilitating it can be. I used to have serious problems that landed me in the hospital more than once. But then I discovered Natron's Healthy Trinity, and it has been a game changer. For over 10 years now, I've been taking Natron's Healthy Trinity daily, and let me tell you, my gut issues have completely stopped. This product is a powerhouse blend of probiotics that supports your digestive health like no other. So if you're experiencing gut problems, I highly recommend giving Natron's Healthy Trinity a try. It worked wonders for me, and it might just be the solution you're looking for. I've included a link in the description where you can learn more about this amazing product. Take control of your digestive health today with Natron's Healthy Trinity. Point 3, establish routines and procedures. I can't emphasize this enough, okay? Your students need to know what your expectations are. And predictability breeds what? What does it breed? It breeds security. And students thrive on it, okay? From how they enter the classroom to how they line up to how they exit the classroom, okay? Teach each procedure. Be explicit in your instruction, okay? Teach, model, and rehearse over and over and over again till it works like clockwork, all right? And then you'll be amazed that after a short while, your classroom will operate basically on automatic pilot, okay? I would even go ahead and do a little friendly competition. Turn it into a game. I used to time students how long it would take them to clean up their art supplies. Okay. So, I think that's a good thing. All right, moving on to the next point, 4, create opportunities for collaboration. I'm a firm believer that cooperative learning types of activities is a good thing. I mean, after all, humans are social creatures, and kids are no exception. All right, incorporate activities that require teamwork, whether it's solving a math puzzle or perhaps building a spaghetti and marshmallow tower. These activities teach cooperation, and they help students learn how to navigate social dynamics. Okay, moving on to point number 5 is celebrate diversity. Your students come from all walks of life, and that's a beautiful thing. Find ways to highlight and celebrate, their unique backgrounds. In my classroom, we used to have Culture Fridays, for example, where students could share something about their heritage. And it was always a hit. And yes, sometimes it came with some snacks. So that was a good thing. My kids really enjoyed that. All right, point 6, model the behavior you want to see. Very, very important here. That's one big thing, okay, you can do. If you want your students to be kind, respectful, and hardworking, well, you've got to show them what it looks like. You have to model it yourself as their teacher, okay? And when you mess up, because you're going to mess up, own it, okay? I mean, we're all human. Many times I've told my kids, when I flubbed up, all right? Apologizing to your students when you're wrong is one of the most powerful lessons that you can teach, okay? When you make a mistake, fess up to it. Point 7, keep it positive. Focus on what's going right instead of what's going wrong. Use praise generously, but caution here. Use it wisely and authentically. Okay, one year I started a Caught Being Awesome board where I'd write down examples of students doing great things. And by mid-year, they were nominating each other. So you talk about a win-win kind of situation here. Point 8, be consistent. Nothing undermines culture faster than inconsistency. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Very, very important there. If you say you're going to do something, do it. It builds trust and shows students that your word, in fact, means something. Consistency doesn't mean rigidity either. It's about being reliable, okay? I mean, you could be consistent and yet be flexible as well, okay? Let's see. Point 9, involve families. Now, I have to tell you something about this. This is a very important thing here. Now, your classroom culture extends beyond the walls of your classroom. Keep parents in the loop always and invite them to be part of the journey. I mean, I'd have parents coming in from time to time and talk to our boys and girls about what they did, what their job was, and talk about their culture. It was wonderful. The kids really, really loved it. So, whether it's through newsletters, class blogs, or family nights, building a partnership with parents strengthens the entire classroom community, okay? And finally, point 10 I want to make is have fun. Okay, yeah, I get it. Teaching is a very serious business, and it is, okay? But it should also be joyful. Laugh with your students. Share stories. Create memories. One year, my class had a running joke about my inability to draw a straight line on the board. Okay, did it make me look silly? Sure. Did it make the students love our classroom even more? And I have to tell you, absolutely, okay? So there you have it. There's 10 points to building a positive classroom culture from day one. Remember, classroom culture is not going to be built overnight, okay? It's going to take more than a day to do it, all right? But every small action that you do, starting from that first minute, okay, that you get your boys and girls into that classroom, okay, it counts. So it contributes to the bigger picture. So start strong, stay consistent, and don't forget to have a little fun along the way. And I hope this has shed some light on how you can build a strong classroom culture in your classroom from day one. Well, there you have it, my friend. We've come to the end of this episode. I want to thank you for listening. I'm your host, Steve Hiles, and we're going to see you same time, same place next week. And remember, always, you got this.
You've been listening to the Teacher RockStar podcast with your host, Steve Hiles. We hope you've enjoyed this podcast as much as we have. Make sure to hit that subscribe button and join our ever-growing community of Teacher Rockstars. Until then, thanks for listening.